We got a fun one on Tuesday. Final score, number 4, Duke 67, number 15, Florida 66. Duke finished with 6-7. I was watching with my little guys. Oh, they really enjoyed that.
I think the 6-7 thing is like long since passed, but
they recognized it in real time. They
I very much did not until you just brought it up on the show.
They seem to enjoy it. The Blue Devils led by as many as 15 points, but trailed the final minute. That's when Isaiah Evans came to the rescue. Made a 3 with 21 seconds left, put Duke ahead 67-66, and then got a deflection on Florida's final attempt to inbound, score, and win. Look at Duke. Look at Duke putting a man on the inbounder. I guess you can learn from other people's past mistakes. So Duke is now 9-0 with wins over Kansas, Florida, Arkansas, and Texas. Duke is 3-0 against the SEC, 1-0 against the Big 12. And I apologize for possibly burying the lead, but Cameron Boozer got 29 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 10 of 21 from the field. Awesome. Again, Norlander, good to see you on this. I guess it's a Wednesday morning. Hit your little button. Let's go, Duke. Let's go, Duke.
Oh, I got many of them. Okay, so you want that one? Want this one?
Let's go, Duke. Come on.
I figured Wednesday morning, that kind of win.
Come on, Duke.
I thought that might be it.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got all sorts of ones. And you know what? For the most part, they played some good
defense.
Yeah, they did a nice job last night. First time Florida had been in Cameron, by the way, since December 9 of 98. Duke now leads this all-time series 15-4. Yes, these two teams, even though they don't share a conference, have played 19 times over the years. Duke got another win. This, by the way, it could have been the title game matchup last year, as a reminder. Did not go that way because of what Houston did to Duke. And then what Florida did to Houston, Duke then kind of did to Florida on Tuesday night, with Florida not even be able to get off a shot on what turned out to be, I guess, the penultimate possession with Boogie Fland. Ironically enough, after being a big-time player in the second half, he coughs it up, turns it over. And then, yes, Malik Brown, who is on the short list of best defenders in college basketball, had a number of good plays, but then the deflection that doesn't even allow Florida a chance at some hope on the last play of the game winds up getting it done there. Isaiah Evans, we see this every so often. Guy is cold all night, but, they say shooters shoot. I say shooters make, and eventually he did. His 8th three-point attempt of the night was his only make. He gets that done. And while Boozer was awesome again, he's had back-to-back games. Credit to our CBS Sports research team for this stat. He's the first Duke player with back-to-back games in which he had 25 or more points against ranked teams, since J.J. Redick in 2006. Yeah. So Boozer was awesome again. He's the best player in the sport right now. I am the acting president of the United States Basketball Writers Association for this season.
Oh, look who's bragging.
Parrish, pipe down over there. I'm setting up why I said that.
Who's bragging?
I wanted to introduce a new element here for this season, and that is a player of the month. You see it in the NFL, you see it in the NBA, you see player of the month, rookie of the month, you see it in baseball. Why can't college basketball have a player of the month award? So we are doing that now this year with the USBWA. And so there's 11 of us on the board, sent out the ballots, and Boozer, before this game, we sent out the ballots, and he was the first place vote getter, I think, on 9 of the 11 ballots, just definitively the best player in college basketball through the first month plus of the season. And he backed that up with what they did on Tuesday night. But it wasn't just him. Like, Patrick Ngongba had maybe his best all-around game in a Duke uniform last night, and I thought that was critical. He had 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists, 5+ blocks. He's only the second player in the past 15 years in a Duke uniform to do that. 5 or more rebounds, 5 or 4 dimes, and 5 or more blocks in a game. Mark Williams did it in 2022. So good stuff for him there as well. Boozer, obviously the overwhelmingly most important player on the floor, but Duke is still undefeated. It still hasn't put everything together, and that's a scary thought to think that this is, top 3, top 4 team in the country, Parrish. And I would certainly argue this team has not had a complete performance yet. It's probably coming. It's not as overwhelmingly loaded and talented like the team a season ago, but Shire's getting it done again, and credit to Florida for making that push. But Duke found a way when it mattered most in the final couple of possessions to get it done.
I know it's only December 3rd, so long way to go, but Cameron Boozer is clearly the national player of the year at this point. And there's really not a competition. I think we've got a dribble handoff scheduled to publish at some point, and it's like at this point in the season, who would be the National Player of the Year? And like if anybody puts anything other than Cameron Boozer, it's just wrong.
We
Right?
might need to rethink that topic. I mean, if there's no other alternatives, we might need to go back to the drawing board there and figure out like who's most likely to catch Boozer or something. Because there's really not at this point. Braden Smith's been awesome. I get that. There's been a lot of really good players. Boozer just has the lead with a little bit of distance right now. Could change.
Yeah, I mean he's averaging 23.6 points, 9.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.7 steals, 1 block per game. That does not lead Duke in every statistical category anymore. So we've fallen off that a little bit, I believe, because of the blocks. But clearly the player of the year at KenPom, they have a KPOY, KenPom
the
player of the year.
Come on, the K-Poi. Let's go.
You call it K-Poi?
K-Poi. Real ones call it a K-Poi.
Oh, I didn't realize that. They have a K-Poi rating over there. I have no idea how they figure it out, but it's 2.366 for Cameron Boozer right now. Second is Joshua Jefferson at Iowa State. Shouts to Joshua Jefferson at Iowa State. 1.567. If you're curious, last season, Cooper Flagg finished at 2.734. Janai Broome was 2.317. So it appears that Cam Boozer right now is somewhere between Cooper Flagg and Janai Broome, but miles ahead of anybody else in the country. Yes, he would clearly be the best player. He's clearly the best player in the country right now. He would be the National Player of the Year right now. And I know a lot of people had sort of zeroed in on a AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson debate for the number 1 pick in the draft. But as we've talked about before, Cameron Boozer is clearly going to have to be a part of that conversation. He has been excellent. And oh, by the way, congrats to Isaiah Evans on hitting that shot. I mean, that's a big shot in a big moment. He was wide open because everybody went with Cam Boozer. I mean, everybody just went with Cam Boozer. And he just looked up and it's like, man, there is nobody close to me. I guess I'll shoot this. And hey, you got to make it. But you can argue that Cam Boozer created that moment just as much as anybody else did.
No question about it. By the way, I love when you start referencing data and statistics and you have no idea what it means. I need the Austin Powers. Not a lot. I need that on my board. Like,
Okay. You ready? You ready for this? Explain K-Poi. Go ahead, nerd.
I'm not the one who invoked it. You invoked it. I'm not the one who invoked it.
I have just noticed that people, myself included, we are constantly like talking about wins above replacement and wins above bubble and all these numbers, and most people don't have any idea most people have no idea what they mean or how we get to them. We just decided that all these things mean something, and I'm not sure they always do.
Fair enough. Good win for Duke, to say the least. I will say on Florida, Thomas Houck, 24 points. He is playing like an All-American. Flam was good in the second half for sure, but Houck was the most consistent player on the floor. He is living up to what they wanted him to be. The Gators overall are not. Now, I as I said on HQ last night, I genuinely give Florida credit for pulling itself together and taking the lead at Cameron, but this is a team that lost to Arizona on the opening night of the season. Got done in by TCU last week and then couldn't get it done on the road against Duke. The next game is in a week. I'll be there at the Garden, Jimmy V. They'll play a UConn team. Huskies fans, we're getting to your squad in just a minute here. But 5-3 overall. It is a quality team that was overrated to come into the season, but I don't know. I was I guess impressed by them in a losing effort as I possibly could be. Like the turnover is, that's atrocious. You don't even get the shot off. That's bad. You were limited by Duke, but that's what Duke does. Like Duke has held every team under its scoring average for the entire season. Florida 66 points were the lowest they had scored all season. They came into the game averaging 86 a game, and they wind up dropping 20 points below that. So notable on the Duke defensive end, but I thought for them to even maintain their composure and really just dig in. I mean, if you watch that second half, possession by possession by possession by possession, they were chipping away and they eventually got the lead. And then, games can come down to those final 2 or 3 possessions. That's exactly what happened here. And if, Flan takes care of the ball a little bit better, we might have a different story, but they didn't. Duke's the better team. It comes out with the win.
Xavion Lee, 1 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. So that's 8 games, 8 starts, and he's shooting 24.7% from the field, 21.1% from 3. I don't have any interest in being mean, but like we can talk about this like adults. He was paid a lot of money to transfer to Florida, and so far it looks like money poorly spent. Like forget the numbers. I mean, don't forget the numbers because the numbers are important and they're bad. But just put your eyes on him. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like an SEC level guard. I mean, is that too harsh? I don't mean to be harsh, but the numbers are the numbers. And then when you just put your eyes on him, he looks like a mid-major player trying to be shoehorned into a high major starting lineup with national championship aspirations. And it feels a little bit like, again, I don't mean to be harsh, but it feels a little bit like the Aiden Mahaney thing. Like you go plug this mid-major guard who had done some nice things at that level, and he probably just belongs at that level. You disagree with any of that?
I think it's a little too harsh, and this is
It might be.
Like Lee's bigger, more toned. He's a bigger player than Mahaney was for sure. The shooting is a big issue. He's got some capabilities to actually, to defend the idea that he would be a starting guard on an SEC school. I think he can actually get there, but I don't think that he's the kind of game-changing guard that they're going to need in order to finish atop the SEC to get a 1 seed again. And he's not their only issue, but it is stark when you check in 8 games into the season. He's 21% from beyond the arc. He's 24.7% shooting from the field at this point. He still is distributing it plenty, but defensively, there's some limitations there at the high major level. So he is becoming, I think, the biggest target for Florida's 5-3 start. There have been some other issues, but I think that's been one of the most glaring for sure. But to be fair, like Florida's been the front court for the most part, I think has lived up to, for the most part, not entirely, its preseason standing as arguably the best in the country. Really, really good at getting on the boards, and that's been the case. They were pretty good overall, both ends against Duke. They could have been better, but they certainly weren't lacking in that department. But for everything that Hauck has been able to do, Condon was a preseason first-team All-American, which according to the Associated Press voter, that was a big overshoot because Hauck's the team's best player. But even still, Condon, who has been dinged up, he was able to play and get on the floor last night. I think between him, Hanlogin, Chin Liu, they can still do collectively a little bit more here. So I'm not saying you are putting it all on Lee, but I think he's becoming the primary target for the criticism against the Gators, and I think there's a little more room to be spread around for blame.
That's fair. Up next, it stays difficult for both teams. Like you said, Florida is off until it plays UConn at the Garden on Tuesday. Duke is at Michigan State on Saturday. Right now, KenPom only projects Duke to be projected as an underdog. It only projects Duke to be an underdog, rather, in 3 games going forward. At Michigan State on Saturday, that's one of them, and just barely. At Louisville on January 6th. And against Michigan on February 21st in our nation's capital. So what number did Jon Scheyer need to get to have most wins through the first whatever years of a career? Because he's obviously on track.
I want to say it was 20. I'm 29, maybe.
Yeah, take the over. I'm trying to tell you to take the over because barring a surprise, it appears he's going to get there. Let's move on.